And now, live from Pod Cabin in Burbank, California, it's the Allison Rosen is Your New Best Friend show. Tonight, Allison welcomes a guest. She's a writer and producer who recently pretended to have COVID in order to boost her lefty clout and curry favor with the deep state or whatever. It's Robin Shore. And he's a comedian and writer who can be found most evenings in the giant vampire women subreddit. It's Jordan Morris. Tone Zone is here to show how, despite the ongoing pandemic, war, continuing disintegration of American civilization, the approaching total collapse of the global ecosystem, he is feeling a little bit cautiously optimistic these days. I'm her husband, Daniel, saying hop on board the Love Bus. Say hello to your best friend, Allison Rosen.
Allison Rosen. Allison Rosen is your new best friend. Allison with her good times never end. Allison Rosen, doing the wavy pencil dance again. Allison's your new best friend.
Hello, my little iced oatmeal cookies. Welcome to another exciting episode of Allison Rosen is Your New Best Friend. That particular carbohydrate was sent in on Patreon by Becky Milner. Yes, I am on Patreon. Bonus episodes of The Friend Zone. And I just had Tony Thaxton, aka Tone Zone, in The Friend Zone. By the time you hear this, that episode will be available. We asked him all of your questions. We peppered him with questions. Is he on dating apps? I know the answer, and the people on Patreon know as well. There's a level where you can text me and I'll text you back. In fact, when Tony was here in person recording the Monday episode of this show and Tone Zone in the Friend Zone, the Patreon bonus episode, I sent a text to everyone saying, in-person alert, Tony Thaxton is here. And then I tried to send photos of him and me. I tried to text them, and then I kept getting error messages, and then I got so many texts back from people saying, what does in-person alert mean? Because the photos didn't go through. Fun stuff like that can be yours if you subscribe at the $10 level, which is the texting level, and then you can see videos of this episode right now. So far, what you've missed is everyone dancing, except for, don't take this the wrong way, Tony, I'm singling you out, except for Tony, who was so still. I wondered, did his screen freeze?
I can explain, but I know it's not my turn.
It's not your turn. Your turn will be 40 minutes into the episode when I decide to introduce you. Anyway, so all of that for the low, low price of whatever price you decide to subscribe at. There's different levels. If you sign up for a year, you get 2 months free. So it's 12 months for the price of 10.
That's a good deal.
That's right. I would like to welcome everyone to the show. What a fun group we have today. Jordan Morris, fresh from his newly renovated home office. Hello.
Hi. It's good to talk to you.
It's
my home office.
I can't wait to find out. I mean, you've got art, you've got wood paneling, you've got lights, you've got it all.
That's true. I have, and those three things count as it all: art, wood paneling, and lighting. That's it all, right?
You've got a microphone. You've got some kind of furniture, and you've got the computer that I'm looking at you through.
Yeah. So I guess I do have it all.
You have it all.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. When you moved your head for a second, move your head again like you just did. Oh, you've got a doorway. That's window.
True. I can.
Oh, my God.
I can get in and out of the room and also look out of the room. So
what is, I want to say Fabergé egg, but that's not what it is. Is there some kind of egg that you look into and you see a scene? Like a diorama that is also a Fabergé egg?
Yes, what are those? Well, I know there's those sugar eggs, right?
Yeah.
I used to get those from my grandma.
That sounds like a great MacGuffin for a movie. Right. Like we need to steal the Fabergé egg within the Fabergé egg. It holds the key to open a portal or something like that.
Well, by the way,
I feel like there's a rush. It's a Russian thing.
Yes. So fuck that. But anyway, what I was going to say is peering into the egg and seeing a scene. That was how I felt when over your shoulder, I saw there's a doorway into another room. Jordan, congratulations on living in an abode that is clearly more than a junior bachelor.
Thank you. Yes. It's a big boy bachelor. That's actually my new name. If you'd please refer to me as Big Boy Bachelor.
Big Boy Bachelor. And what I wanted to say about Portal is, since you are a video game fan who is into giantess women, clearly from the intro. So Portal is like the one
I did enjoy the last Resident Evil game that had a enemy that was a giant woman.
What's her name? Dimitrov?
Oh, Lady Dimitrescu, I believe.
Something. Yeah, Lady Dimitrescu.
I believe, like it's not my back tattoo.
We've read your fan fiction.
Is it in full size though? Because if so, it's like she cut. Like you're like Two-Face, right? The front is Jordan and the back is Lady Dimitrescu. If she is to size,
it's just her shoe print. It's her name and her shoe print. It's where she stepped on me.
So that titillated a lot of people. I'm not a video game person, as we've discussed. However,
Sure.
Daniel tried to get me into Portal when we first started dating.
Oh, yeah.
And I wanted to. It's like the game for people who aren't gamers. I couldn't even figure out how to move the little figure. The joystick was too hard for me.
Yeah, I think that
Portal was too hard for me.
I think that a place that video games left a lot of people behind is like those first-person type games where one stick moves the person and one stick moves the camera. I think that if you were kind of gradually eased into that through, GoldenEye 64 and Ape Escape on the PlayStation 1, like that, those types of games kind of eased that concept into gaming. But if, the last games you played were, something like Mario or Sonic or something, that is such a wacky concept that also can make you nauseous.
That sort of visual literacy, like Elliot normally there was a phase where he watched Peppa Pig, which is always from whatever the point of view that Mario was from. These are not video games. This is just, YouTube.
Maybe you would say like side scrolling. You would
yes.
One would say.
So then he was watching something where it was like cutting back and forth between characters, and he wanted to know, why does it keep doing that? Like that was the first time he had taken note of that. Anyway, more where that came from. I don't know what that means. Robin Shore, hello, welcome back from the brink of death.
Hello, I'm so happy to be here because it means I'm alive.
It's a proof of life podcast.
So I want to introduce everyone except for Tony because he doesn't get to talk till 40 minutes in. But then I want to hear everything because yours has been a cautionary tale for me, I think. I mean, I'm just going off of like what I've pieced together from your internet stories, but my sense has been you did not enjoy COVID despite what everyone else has said about it. You didn't enjoy it.
It wasn't the 5-day cold I was promised.
Okay.
And I was
God,
very...
such a hipster.
I know.
I was kind of whatever on COVID. I know everybody loved it, but
I will say I was very on the fence about sharing the COVID on social media because I'm like, number one, who cares? Number two, who cares? And number three, COVID's over. And
stop bumming us out.
I think I asked you, Alice, and I was like, is it lame that I shared that I have COVID? And you were very, very, very accommodating and said that I was doing a public service.
I feel like you are because you pointed out in your post that if you could go back in time and not have eaten inside, you would have.
God. Yes. And the worst part is the gaslighting that has come from saying that it was indoor dining. And I'm talking about gaslighting from my own in-laws who I was with because they didn't get it, but I got it, which is a whole discussion about airflow and vents and boring stuff.
Okay.
But yeah.
Oh, no. Okay. So quickly, hang on, right? Because I want to come back to that.
Yeah.
Let's just quickly bring everyone in. Daniel, hello.
Yes. Thank you.
Full disclosure, as I was walking to the the office, which is how I get to the studio, I saw my kids saying goodbye to Dan. It was like 4:31, and I saw Daniel.
Escape.
What?
I tried to escape.
I know. I saw you running next door, and I was like, "What's he doing?" And then I was the reason we were all late. So
I was halfway down the block, and I said, "Now is not the time, DQ.
There's a show to do.
Pick your moment.
Pick your moment."
Right. Slip out under the cover of night.
Well, welcome to the show. Tony, hello. I lied about not letting you talk. You can talk.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah. And we're here. We're back on Zoom after an in-person.
I know.
We did one in
Poor
person.
Tony.
And not only did I see you on Friday, I saw Daniel on Friday. And then guess what? On Saturday, I saw Jordan.
Yeah.
What?
We
Yeah.
hung out.
That's
What?
right.
Whoa.
So, Robin, you got to step it up, I think.
Invite me. I'll be
Yeah,
there.
why aren't you seeing Tony?
Yeah.
Where did you guys
Let's
go?
go
Kind
hang
of
out.
rude. Kind of rude not to hang out with Tony.
Wait, was this the thing you posted? Tony, you posted some stories of you playing drums. Is that where you guys
Yeah.
saw each other?
Yeah.
And I saw you playing drums to a Nirvana song and to a Joan Jett song, and I watched those over and over and over.
Oh.
Thank you. Yeah, it was. Yeah, our friend runs a cover band night at Permanent Records Roadhouse here, and they just get a bunch of people put together like 3 or 4 song sets by different bands, and I got asked to play in the Joan Jett one and the Nirvana one, so I did those. And
That's
Jordan
so
was there.
cool.
I was there. It was a lot of fun. We had a great time. That was one of 2 social things I did that day.
What was
Oh,
the
yeah,
other
that's
one?
right, because you were also at a birthday party earlier in the day.
Yeah,
Except
so
I
let
was
me
too.
and I had a weird social moment that seems like was tailor-made for this show.
Oh my God. I need to hear. Well, wait.
Yeah, we could again, there's a lot of things we're saving.
Yeah.
We're going to get to it.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
I'm gonna make-
modular pods of a show.
I'm going to
Yes,
make a
just
note
let me
of
know.
it. Okay.
Make a note.
Jordan, what should I call your social moment? Jordan's social moment?
Let's call it Pasadena Douchebags.
Oh, okay. Pasadena
I like it already.
That's a tease. That's a tease. A nice regional tease.
bags.
Yes.
And then we have Tony Screen Freeze.
What?
When I thought your screen was frozen and you're going to explain.
Oh.
Yeah. And then we have Robin COVID. And then
gosh.
I have a couple things. Okay. Tony, let's just hear it.
Oh,
You
yeah,
were gonna explain.
That's not. Well, it's. There's 2 things to it. One,
Okay.
I never dance. 2, I updated my computer and the soundboard that I use to do everything. Because we play the crowd noise at the beginning, and then when I start the song, I have to hit fade on the crowd noise, and the fade button is just gone now. So I have to carefully manually do it and try to not screw it up and stop the song and all that. So I was focused on that.
And
Now,
Tony, every time we play those songs, I do the air drums to try to impress you. You never comment on how good it is.
Well, see, there's another reason we got to get back in person because
I
I'll be able
know.
to see it way more easily.
if anyone is wondering, wow, Allison, you get to work behind the scenes with the original bad boy of podcasting, Tony Thaxton, what's it like? I'll tell you, this riveting story he just told, that's the second time I heard that. I also got to hear it in person before we recorded.
You asked.
I know. You made it sound like there was something to it.
There was, because you asked why I wasn't dancing, and that was part of the reason.
Hadn't heard it. I hadn't heard the story.
You're right. I'm sorry.
Hearing
I never said it was a good story. It was just the truth behind what was going on.
I appreciate the transparency. If
I'm
you
all
need
about
more
transparency.
of that, please check out the Monday show with Tony in person. We took your calls. It was such a fun show. It was such a fun time. I feel like, Tony, for you, after being here, recording with me, seeing Daniel, seeing the kids, what a drop off your next night must have been. No offense, Jordan.
Yeah, I can't compete with that. What do I got? What am I bringing to the table? A story about a giant vampire lady that only exists in a video game? That's all I got.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Try harder. Okay. So, Robin, please tell
Yeah.
us everything because
Oh, God.
I need to know everything.
I want to know what the meal was.
Yeah.
You do? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to say where we were because it's a great local neighborhood restaurant, and we were really excited to take Sam's parents there, and everything was going great. Pizzas, pastas, just a delicious Sunday night dinner. And then I would say like halfway through our meal, this table, I can only refer to them in my head as a table of Machine Gun Kellys. They all looked like Machine Gun Kelly.
It's a very
it was like
vivid picture you've painted.
It was so clear. These 12 guys, these punks, they just sat down. You know, were they 6 feet away? They weren't, but we were in a restaurant. And then, so that was Sunday. And then Wednesday, I started to feel weird. I didn't know how to do my Walgreens COVID test. And so my dear friend Liz and I did it over FaceTime. She taught me how to do the Walgreens test. And as we're just waiting, waiting for that 15 minutes, within, I'm not even kidding, 5 seconds, that the positive line came up. It's
That's
like
what happened to me too when I had it.
Yeah.
I've heard it's very fast.
Very fast. And, I still had meetings the rest of that day. And, the rest of the day, I was like, I have COVID. Who cares? I'm going to be fine. And then it just got really bad. I had to have my dog stay at her dog walker's house for a week because I couldn't walk her. Couldn't go outside. Body aches, chills, and most importantly, a kidney infection and a stomach virus.
Oh my God.
No. Oh my gosh.
All brought on by COVID, which I think people don't know. I didn't know, but both doctors, my gyno and my stomach doctor, because as a Jew, you must have a stomach doctor on call. I was like, why can't I mean, I didn't have an appetite for the first week, but the second week when I attempted to eat a soup or a macaroni and cheese, it wouldn't stay down. And he was like, I've seen this with a lot of patients. It's just part of COVID. That was his explanation. Your stomach flaps aren't opening fast enough to take in the food.
It affects the flaps?
Yeah, I didn't even know there
I've
were
never heard that
flaps.
COVID affects the flaps.
You get inflated flaps.
I got inflated flaps, inflated everything.
Why isn't Fauci telling us this?
My last day on antibiotics is today, so this is a big celebration.
That's wonderful. Although, wasn't it a month ago that you had it?
No, I tested positive on February 27th, so this is the end of week 3, actually.
Oh, my
this
sense
is the
of
beginning
time.
of week 4. So
My sense of
it's
time
been,
is distorted.
It's been kind of a month, but that everybody should know, if you get COVID, don't try to do the laundry because you're lonely and you want clean clothes. Don't try and unload the dishwasher because you think your house looks gross. Just rest and just sleep. I've never slept so much in my life. I still have to take a nap every day and I'm exhausted all the time. But I feel so much better. I got a mobile IV that came to my house on Friday to fill my veins with minerals and vitamins.
Wow.
And I think that's part of why I feel a lot better.
Does your brain feel smaller?
No, I mean, probably, but why? Brain
That
fog?
That happens.
That's one of the
Yeah.
that's right. They're saying that.
what?
Yeah,
Your brain
isn't
can
that
shrink.
aren't they
it
saying that's
probably
what causes long COVID?
Long COVID is something that's as far as I understand, is not fully defined yet.
It's not.
And it kind of is like a catch-all to describe all sorts of different chronic issues. But one of them is it can be a brain shrinks a little bit.
I can't wait for that. It's shrinking as we speak now that I'm aware of it. But my doctor told me that I may have to go to the long COVID clinic at UCLA. I don't want to go to that clinic. I don't want to go to any clinic.
What goes on there?
I don't know. I didn't even look it up. I'm on day 2, I woke up and I was like, I'm fine. And then it just it's like being punched in the face and going down and not being able to get up. But I'm happy that I have a friend who got it this week and his case is mild. I don't know why I got hit so hard, but people have postulated that I had Delta, that somehow I still had the Delta variant.
Interesting. Right, because Omicron
kind of retro.
Yes, look at you. Because Omicron is supposed to, I even told you that I know of someone who got Omicron and it was extremely mild.
I was hoping for that Omi, but I didn't lose my smell or sense of taste, but I also didn't need it because there was no way I was going to be eating that much. But let me just say, it was a drag. And if only, I should have just taken Candace Cameron's advice and taken a walk in the sunshine. You know what I mean?
It was that simple. Why didn't you do it?
It's so simple. It's the same advice when I was on a show many years ago and was going through a bad breakup. This guy said, I don't understand why anybody could ever be depressed in Southern California. Just take a walk in the sun.
Oh, so
it makes me
so
depressed.
True.
Yeah, it makes you depressed.
It's like too much damn sunshine in my life. I grew up in Arizona. Well, 2 things. One, I know that COVID can weaken your immune system. And so what happens is latent other things that are sort of in your system can cause infection. So it's like a secondary effect of
Yes.
COVID is what sounds like you
That's
got.
kind of what happened. Yeah.
And number 2, and this is crazy, Omicron has killed more people in the U.S. than Delta.
Oh.
Oh my gosh.
So we think
Is
of
that
it as
unvaccinated people? Probably.
unvaccinated people, but still.
That's crazy. I didn't realize that. All I can say is, for anybody out there who's on the fence about getting vaccinated, when I felt it, it was day 2, day 3, and day 4 that I felt it in my chest. And you know what? I can share pictures.
Oh, yeah.
I took a picture of myself every day.
Patreon.com/Allison Rosen. Hello.
Oh my God.
As I pull them up, I'll just say, as I felt it in my chest, I was like, how this is like a horror movie for anybody that's not vaccinated. It felt like spiders in my chest. And for those people who knew they were kind of going to die because they weren't vaccinated, I just can't even imagine what they were feeling. So should I show you these pictures?
Yes. Now, Jennifer Aniston on the morning show, fictional, said it felt like fire in her veins. Did you feel a fire in your veins?
No, I felt dead in my veins. Okay. I felt, I never thought I was going to die, but we were hovering in those areas mentally.
Jeez.
You know,
You didn't feel it in the veins. You more felt it in the flaps.
In the flaps.
Fiery
my
flaps.
flaps.
Some people feel it in the
Now, here's the thing. I hope as I share these photos, we will see them as funny and not, because I posted a picture of me looking cute in college and then a picture of me with COVID and was like, guess which one is me with COVID? And I thought it was really funny. And so did my boyfriend. And then like everybody was like, oh my God, I'm so sad. Like they took it really seriously. So when I show you these photos, just know that I'm okay. And I took these photos because I thought they were funny because I'd never felt so horrible in my life. So can you see? So that's number 1. Wait, let me get the glare out.
That's
one.
It looks great.
Wait. It's great.
Use it for
Okay.
Your new headshot.
This is number 2. Just fully just sorry. It's another one.
Yes. You don't look happy.
And then
you look like you just
this is a fave.
Oh.
Maybe if I'm just saying.
Man.
I think a lot of it's the lighting. So maybe if you got out in the sunshine,
Have you
had
taken
a ring light,
a vitamin D supplement?
That's the one. You look like Megan Amram's
Avatar.
Twitter photo.
Oh, really? This was, you can't tell, but I'm crying. I'm really crying.
Oh God. Yeah, these look unhappy.
Oh no.
And I think that was the end of the COVID photo. Oh yeah, this was the last one.
So now no one else got it though.
No, thank God. And no one believes that I got it at that restaurant that night, but I only went for the rest of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I went to Whole Foods in the morning with a mask on and self-checkout. So I don't know what else it could have been except Machine Gun Kelly, who gave me COVID.
If anybody knows a bunch of Machine Gun Kellys in the LA area, check on them.
What does that guy do? Is he a DJ or something?
He is like a rapper?
Yeah, I think he's a rapper who then kind of moved into being like a screamo guy.
What's a screamo?
Screamo.
Well, like is
that like emo but more screamy?
Yeah, I think so. That's one of those bands where one guy sings and one guy screams.
Oh, yes, I know exactly what you mean.
Kind of maybe mid 2000s. Those were real popular. I think he does that now,
and
but I could be wrong.
He is with Megan Fox, and he gave her that ring where it has thorns on it. But if she tries to take it off, it'll like cause her pain. And I'm like, is that real? Because there are times you take your ring off, like to clean it and stuff. It seems like this seems apocryphal to me.
It seems like a great way to start a union. Like if you take this off, your fucking finger's going to fall off.
Right.
Threats of violence.
Could it possibly cause more pain than it's caused putting it on?
Oh, good point.
Listen, speaking of discomfort, I want to tell you guys about something that will help you sleep comfortably. Women are at higher risk of poor sleep quality and sleep deprivation due to hormonal changes that disrupt the circadian rhythm, negatively impacting overall health. This can later lead to hot flashes and night sweats in up to 85% of women, making sleep seem impossible. You know what else makes sleep seem impossible? When you have a husband that I'm convinced.
All right.
I am convinced he was like running in his sleep because I felt
I'm training.
What were you doing? What'd you say?
I said I'm training.
Yeah, I felt the covers being pulled down from the foot of the bed. I don't know what you were doing, but thankfully it did not happen last night. And even if you put the cell phone down and turn the lights off, your body still needs one final trigger to let it know we can sleep now. The trigger is a decrease in temperature, which hacks your primal response and convinces your body that it's finally bedtime. This is where Chili Sleep comes to the rescue. Their team helps people from all walks of life achieve better sleep, whether you're a new mom or you know a mom or just hate tossing and turning in sweaty sheets. So Chili Sleep, it's so innovative, makes customizable climate-controlled sleep solutions that help you improve your entire well-being. They make the Uller and the Cube sleep systems hydropowered, temperature-controlled mattress toppers that fit over your existing mattress to provide your ideal sleep temperature. These luxury mattress pads keep your bed at the perfect temperature for deep sleep, whether you sleep hot or cold. These sleep systems are designed to help you fall asleep, stay asleep, and give you the confidence and energy to power you through your day. As part of the overall scientific study conducted by Wake Forest researchers, Chili Sleep's cooling bed products were shown to significantly reduce the frequency of night sweats by 86% and the frequency of hot flashes by 64%. Women involved in the menopause study said Chili Sleep's bedding products made significant changes to their sleep patterns and sleepability. Some 57% saw a decrease in severity of hot flashes. So this stuff is great. You put water in it, you put it on your bed. It's so comfortable. And then there's a unit and then there's an app and you can put it exactly to the temperature you want. You will be so comfortable. I've never slept better, except for when Daniel tried to run a marathon in the middle of the night. But thankfully, I just adjusted my trusty app to the temperature I need it to. And with the next update of the app, I'm going to adjust it to my husband will not be training in the middle of the night. And then I'm just kidding. That is a joke. No, it's so good though. It is like, it's perfect for me because I am so particular with the temperature that I like to sleep at. Head over to chilisleep.com/bestfriend to learn more and save 30% off the purchase of any new Cube or Uller sleep system. This offer is available exclusively for Allison Rosen's Your New Best Friend listeners and only for a limited time. That's Chili, CHILI sleep.com/bestfriend to take advantage of our exclusive discount and wake up refreshed every day. Okay, I think it's time for Pasadena Douchebags, Jordan.
Yeah.
So before I went to see Tony's cover band show, which I really loved, by the way. Tony's great. All the bands were great. It was so much fun. First like live music I've seen in a while, and it was just so invigorating and terrific. Great night. But before that, I went to just a like friends like birthday party backyard barbecue. It's a very just like down the middle social event that was also just like thrilling in a way because I hadn't done something like that in so long. And just every little like moment was kind of exciting. I'm like, oh, I brought drinks and I don't know where to put them. Look at this. I brought drinks and I don't know where to put them.
How novel.
Yeah, exactly. And I was just, and so I was, and you know, it was, I knew a lot of people, but there were also a lot of like casual acquaintances I haven't seen in a long time. And like people whose names maybe I don't know, like I could take a guess, like maybe your name is Andy, like a lot of those types of people. And I was just having this chit chat with like a friend's husband. So you can kind of like judge the level of chit chat we're having, like
sure,
just kind of like finding something to talk about because we
a little bit forced.
we're the only people at the party who aren't talking to somebody, so we're giving it a go. And I like this guy, and he's being very like nice, and we're chatting, and it's good. I don't think he's like being like, he's not trying to big time me in any way up until this point. But the thing I chit chat about when I need to chit chat with people is that like I moved to Pasadena. It's like been a year, but I still say like I just moved to Pasadena because, you know, if you're an Angelino, like you have opinions about that, and everyone's like, oh, I've heard it's nice up there, and and like the thing I can kind of pull out is like, yeah, Pasadena is great. Here's the deal with the restaurants I've found, and like kind of the deal with the restaurants
This is
the
fertile conversation topic.
I rehearsed this in the mirror. So the deal with Pasadena is like if you live in LA, you know, it's like it's a little bit of an older clientele. It's you know, it's the hipsters are kind of somewhere else. The like hyper kind of richies are kind of somewhere else. So it's kind of this kind of liminal space with a lot of like old entertainment lawyers. And so I in general, I really like the vibe, but like eating is a little like there's a couple kinds of restaurants that are a little bit hard to find. Like Pasadena has great like breakfast burritos and like diner burgers and kind of stuff like that. Pasadena just nails it. But like if you wanna go like out for kind of a nicer date night with a bunch of Machine Gun Kellys, then it's a little bit harder to find a spot. There's a couple good ones, but you know, so like, huh?
It's a little like Burbank.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of a similar vibe of kind of like, yeah, like everyday food, really great, but special event type stuff, it's a little tougher. But Robin, after we hang up, I do want to know where that good Italian place is that you got COVID.
Same.
I'll tell ya.
Anyway, so I'm like explaining this to the guy, and he's like, "Really? There's nowhere nice in Pasadena?" I'm like, "Yeah, you know, there's a couple of places, and then there's you know some places on a kind of a main drag, and they turn into clubs on the weekend." And I'm like, and everybody there is, you know, it seems like it kind of caters to douchebags. And he's like, "Well, you could get in there."
What?
And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, like you could like get into a douchebag club. You already got the shirt. And I was like,
I'm
what?
so
And he's like,
mad
wow.
right now.
He's like, that shirt you're wearing, like they'd let you into the club. Can I show you the shirt?
Yes.
Okay, I need to get the shirt. It's gonna take a second. I'm gonna get the shirt.
Furious.
That's
okay.
fine.
I'm more upset at this story than I am at having COVID for 2.5 weeks.
This is not okay. Oh my
It's
God.
not
But while
okay.
he's gone, we are really looking into the Fabergé egg of his house. There's a hummingbird
Okay,
poster.
I'm back.
Or painting. Yeah, we
let's see
were
this
admiring your house.
Oh, thank you. So this is the shirt.
This is not a douchebag shirt. It's
a nice
a
shirt.
print.
It's like a black.
Adorable.
Thank
Is that a
you.
button down short
Yeah,
sleeve?
it's a button down short sleeve.
I
It's
think
kind
you
of
have this shirt, Daniel.
Yeah, I have shirts just
It's
like
really
that.
cute.
Yeah,
I want to get it for Sam.
Also.
Let's
Daniel.
see it.
Daniel, you and I need to go to the douchebag clubs,
need
do
to
some
do that.
shots,
Like,
do some
Yeah.
blow in the
Say
bathroom.
that.
Hold it up.
Like, what was the shirt he was wearing?
And it's like a normal shirt.
It's like
It's
yeah,
such a
this I
normal
think this shirt screams, which is all I want to get across with my clothes is like I'm a normal man who's a little bit fun.
Yes.
All I want to say with my clothes.
Wait, can you hold it up so we can get the
Yes.
full? I need the full shirt.
We need full
And again,
shirt.
What was this guy
shirtage.
wearing, by the way?
Great
Yeah.
reason to join Patreon so you can
Great.
see the shirt.
Patreon.com/Allison Rosen. Patreon.
It's worth seeing. It's worth seeing. It will
Okay.
infuriate you.
It's
so
What
cute.
a disgusting.
has Jordan never
hipster.
held up a shirt?
What am I doing wrong? How am I fucking up the shirt?
You're holding it up backwards, but it's okay. I get the vibe.
Like if it was made out of silk or something. I
Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
it's
it's
very
kind of a
normal.
softer
It's a fucking
material.
normal shirt.
Thank
That
you. I
shirt
think it's a
also-
normal shirt.
Yeah.
That shirt also says to me, "I respect the seasons, and we're in spring now.
Yeah.
We are in spring, and
It's
I
the-
am a man of seasons."
Thank you. Yes, that's a nice seasonal shirt.
But
Wait, what was
also,
this?
Cadbury
wearing?
egg of shirts.
why did this is a lot of questions here.
Right.
Why did he turn on you? I just don't understand why he decided. This sort of reminds me of like when I was very young, maybe on a date, I felt awkward and I'd be like, I don't want to just be like a nice girl. That's boring. So maybe I'll like periodically try to be mean because that's more interesting. Like, has he never had a conversation with a human being before? What's happening?
And again, we're all a little out of practice. We're all kind of like getting
Yeah, but
socializing is it's a little, we're all a little bit shaky, and I get it, and maybe there was just kind of an element of he's like, oh, I know this is a comedy guy, I'm gonna roast him a little bit.
Was he negging you?
He might have been negging me. Was he trying to sleep with me?
Right.
Because it worked. I'll just say it worked. Right into his trap.
Okay, so what's the question that has been posed? What kind of shirt was he wearing?
What was his outfit?
Gosh, I'm trying to remember. I think, boy, he's like a music industry guy, and I vaguely remember him being like a little bit rock and roll, like a little bit like like black t-shirt, maybe a little bit of jewelry. Yeah.
That's
Anyway.
more douchey than what you were wearing.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, right? This is the pot calling the kettle douchey.
So here's what I want to know, Jordan. I want to know what your internal. I want to know how you reacted. So I'm going to say what he said to you, and I want to see your reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I bet you could get into those clubs in your douchebag shirt, those Pasadena douchebag shirts.
Yeah, can't wait. I just take it. I'm a doormat. I just I take, and I don't want anybody to be mad, so I'm not going to get into it with this guy. I just laughed it off. I kind of took the roast and I internalized it, and now I'm complaining about it on a podcast several days later.
You're expressing it. You're getting it out of your system.
Yes, exactly.
But
this is my
I
therapy.
think the move would have been
this is my therapy.
This is your self-care, Jordan.
This is my self-care.
Yes.
I do actual therapy. I'm making fun of people who say that. Anyway.
But it would have been hilarious if you were like, you know what? Let's fucking go. Let's go to the club right now.
You and me, man. Hop in the car. Leave your kids here at this barbecue. He had like 3 kids with him. I'm like, leave your kids at this barbecue. Let's head on up to Pasadena, and let's do some fucking blow on Colorado Boulevard.
That's some projection, I think. With the 3 kids, he was wishing he had time to wear a shirt as whimsical as yours and go to a club.
Thank you. Yeah, you can't wear such a cool shirt if there's, kids spitting up on it, spilling chicken nuggets on it. It was jealousy, pure jealousy.
It was.
Did you get the sense that he's like a passive-aggressive, angry guy underneath it all, though?
I don't know. No, I mean, I think there's just a caliber of status dude who just kind of takes casual shots in conversation.
But why?
I think it's just, I don't know. I mean, I think sometimes it's when someone who's not that funny wants to be funny, they kind of try some things. There's these strategies you can tell when, and I think a lot of straight dudes think they should be funny all the time, and
especially like you said, around someone who they know
and
is a
none of
person.
basically no person is funny, basically no one. But and so I think and I think there's these things they go to, and it's like meanness, or it's like shots, or it's roasts, or like repeating memes, or saying bacon. It's like this. It's stuff like that. There's just a little bag of tricks that you see someone pull out when they think it's time to be funny.
There's nothing worse than a guy who was told in high school that he was really funny. There's nothing worse.
Yeah, sure.
And those guys, I think, go through the world. They're like, I'm funny, and then I've said on a few occasions, more than I'd like. I've said something along the lines of if you're gonna make a joke, it's gotta make me laugh. It's gotta be funny. There's no, but it takes a lot of balls to say that in the moment, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't usually do it, but I hate when guys really try, and I hate it. I just hate it for you. I hate it for you.
Thank you. But now I'm gonna feel I hope I have the strength to wear the shirt again, because I think it's a good shirt.
Oh my God, Jordan, you have to wear the shirt.
Absolutely.
You have to. Yeah. Otherwise, I will take it personally.
Wow.
Because I do believe. Who makes that shirt? Is it Bonobos?
This might add a little credence to his argument. It's a J. Crew.
Oh.
What's wrong with J. Crew?
Is that a douche? Maybe he was reacting to the brand. Is J. Crew associated?
How did he know the brand?
It doesn't say J. Crew on it.
I don't. I think that's a fine brand.
Down the middle than J. Crew.
Down the middle.
Yeah.
I think Daniel has that shirt, which is why, like I said, I believe you don't. You do or you don't.
I have a similar shirt.
I will take it personally if you don't wear it.
Okay. I'm going to wear the
I
shirt.
think you need
Do it
to,
for me.
I think you need to try. I think you need to. It's like you got to get back on the horse, but the horse is a shirt.
Right. I got to ride that shirt all the way to the Rio Grande. The metaphor's falling apart a little bit, but I understand what you mean.
You'll find another shirt in the Rio Grande.
Right.
Now, what's this guy's wife like?
This is a thing where I have to tell you who his wife is after we get done with the recording.
Oh, I can't wait.
Boy.
The answer's kind of wild. The answer's kind of wild, actually. And
So
I hate to do this to like the listener because it fucking sucks. I realize it, but like it's pretty good, and they're all gonna like it when I tell them after the recording.
Because she's famous is where it's headed.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So just for my own, because I'm forgetful, we need after the show, we need to find out where Robin got COVID, and we need to find out who the douche. He's the douchebag. It's a transitive property. Who the douchebag's wife is?
A reverse douche.
Yes. Okay. Listen, this guy. I hope even though I don't like him very much, I hope he feeds his kids nutritious quality food. For example, Little Spoon. Little Spoon is a one-stop shop for healthy, easy mealtime and snack time for your baby, toddler, and big kid delivered right to your door. Little Spoon makes healthy mealtime easy at every stage, saving hours in your week and all at a reasonable price. They're also the most flexible company. You can pause, modify, or cancel or skip at any time. Most of the baby or kids foods you get at the grocery store is heavily processed and often on the shelf longer than your little one has even been in this world, which is not cool and not the quality nutrition our kids deserve. Little Spoon makes everything fresh and uses absolutely nothing artificial. It's just like homemade, all delivered to your door and ready in seconds. Pop your meals in the fridge or freezer and use them when you're ready. It's that easy. Little something about me, Daniel, back this up. When we met, a little something. Oh my God, this is super embarrassing. And I'm good. Okay. I like to eat baby food, toddler food. Before we had children, I would occasionally buy toddler food.
What's the difference between baby food and toddler food?
Baby food is more mushy, and toddler food is just
like tiny little raviolis,
like little small little portions.
Yeah, we
Sounds
were at
pretty
a grocery
good.
store.
Yeah, but I always
would like some
felt
tiny
embarrassed
little
when I would buy it at the store.
We were at a grocery store and we're buying it, and the guy was checking. I was like, "Oh,
what age
mine
is this
3.
for?"
Yeah, mine is 3. And I almost replied, "Oh, mine is 37."
That's a fun age.
Yeah,
that's a fun.
Anyway, all I'm saying is we got a shipment of Little Spoon, and my mouth watered for me, but my kids like it too. Little Spoon makes 100% organic cold pressed baby food for every eating stage, has a toddler and kids food line that takes you through the weaning stage and into the big kid years, and just launched a line of on the go smoothies. We went to Descanso Gardens, brought the smoothies with us, and the kids wanted a snack while we were walking around. They loved them. All of their recipes taste absolutely delicious. They're nutritionally balanced, free of junk, helping to set your little one up for a lifetime of health. I tried everything. Tastes legit great. So the smoothies have made snacks time so much easier. Each flavor is inspired by a classic treat. They're all so good. The best part is the price is right. With kids' meals under $5 and baby food and smoothie snacks under $3, it makes trying Little Spoon easy. Start the new year fresh with Little Spoon. Get 50% off your first order with the code BESTFRIEND at checkout. So use the code BESTFRIEND at checkout to get 50% off your first Little Spoon order. Also, we are supported by Peacock's Below Deck Down Under. Good day, yachties. Your favorite reality franchise is charting a course for Australia in Peacock's new original series, Below Deck Down Under. On a super yacht near the Great Barrier Reef, it's not just the waves that rock the boat. Each charter of outrageous guests presents new challenges for the yachty hotties, but you can count on them to work hard and play harder. There may be sharks in the water, but this crew has a bite of its own. Fan fave Aisha from Below Deck Med is back as Chief Stew, while hunky newcomer Jason has everyone saying, "Aye, aye, Captain." Add in yacht-size egos and dueling deckhands, and you can bet there's drama on the horizon. If you're looking for the ultimate escape, pull up that anchor and come aboard. Below Deck Down Under is streaming now with new episodes every Thursday only on Peacock. Okay, so dovetailing on Jordan's awkward conversation topic, topic. Awkward conversations. That is the topic. I had an epiphany earlier, and I want to know if you guys agree. And here was my realization. After being a podcaster now for numerous years, I realized I pretty much never feel good about having a conversation about podcasting with someone when it is with someone who didn't know that I'm a podcaster and who isn't also a podcaster. When it basically is like a, oh, what do you do kind of conversation. And where I feel like I volunteered the fact that I'm a podcaster, and then we get into a conversation about podcasting, and then I think, what, like, so I will give you the conversation. Last week or the week before, I talked about the guy who put together our kids' bunk beds, where I tipped him and then he came back later and then I tipped him again. And then he was like, oh, are you sure? And then I almost was like, you know what? And then took the tip back because I was like tired and not paying attention. And then I'm like, what am I like? It was a social thing where I almost was like, yeah. And I couldn't believe I almost did that, but thankfully I didn't. But then I was like asking everyone, like, have you guys ever double tipped? And no one had, but I double tipped, but I feel okay about that. But anyway, we had him come back today to haul away some, like, basically the box. He was here. The bunk beds came in gigantic boxes, and Daniel, this is what I realized. Daniel is like a very stand-up dude. I feel like the guy that Jordan was having the conversation with is kind of a weenie. I've been thinking about, I feel like this is like a pretty retro line of thinking, to be dividing men into categories of men. It's very, we don't do that anymore. But Allison Rosen apparently still does. And there are people like Daniel who are just stand-up guys. And in the course of, and they're not weenies, but in the course of that, like, we gave away, I tweeted about this. We wanted to get rid of a bed. And I was like, great, let's just throw it out. And Daniel's like, no, we're going to post it on the Buy Nothing group. And Daniel, am going to go out and purchase. Daniel, like, put time into it. He spent money to make sure that it went to a stranger who will now enjoy our used bed. But they knew they were getting a used bed.
I tried to give something away on a Buy Nothing board recently. I can relate my experience later if there's time, but I just want to say I sympathize.
Yeah. I mean, I want to hear your story. It's like but it's like, that's such a stand-up thing to do, because my thing is like, let's just put it in a landfill. Fuck it. It won't be in our house anymore. And I'm not in favor of us. But so anyway, when the guy was here, Daniel's like, we'll take care of the boxes.
This is when he was here the other week.
When he was here the other week to put together the bunk bed, Daniel's like, don't worry about it. We'll take care of the boxes. So these humongous, what, Daniel?
I don't know why. I don't think I realized how much styrofoam was in the boxes. Yeah. So these are like humongous boxes, and there are many of them.
We've had
full of styrofoam.
1,000 humongous boxes sitting in our living room ever since, because Daniel, being the stand-up guy he is, was like, we got it, don't worry about it. And I keep saying to Daniel, I feel like he would have just hauled them away. Like, why did you say that? Because you're a stand-up guy. So anyway, I finally texted the guy and was like, actually, could you haul them away? So he came back today. I'm going to try to make this faster than my natural. Let me tell you. What?
Why start abbreviating?
Why start now? My stories are longer than real time.
That's okay.
Hey, people can sit through a 3-hour Batman movie. They can sit through.
That's right.
A 4-hour recounting of the Batman
story about
movie.
Right.
Of the Batman. Anyway.
The Batman.
The bunk bed.
I had said to him, is there any way? He had said I can be there by 4. And then I was like, is there any way you could be here by 3:45? Because we have something at 4. And so that's when with you guys, I rescheduled to 4:30. But so anyway, when he was called me, going to be here at 4:05 and and then, he's like, oh, I thought you guys weren't going to be home. That kind of went back and forth. And then I'm like, oh, actually, because I was kind of rushing around. I'm like, oh, actually, he was like saying, oh, I thought you weren't going to be here. I thought you were leaving. And I said, no, I have a studio in the back and we're going to go record a podcast. Already, why am I offering this much information? He's like, oh, what podcast? And I said, oh, it's called Allison Rosen is Your New Best Friend. Meanwhile, I'm wearing my Allison Rosen is Your New Best Friend shirt. Already not cool. And and then he's like, oh, and then oh no, sorry. I said, oh, I have 3 Allison Rosen is Your New Best Friend, Childish and Upwardly Weekly. It's like, oh, cool. You know, I'm like, oh, do you listen to podcasts? And he's like, yes. And then I could tell he thought like maybe I wouldn't have heard of these podcasts.
I do like the thought of him not knowing that you have a podcast, but knowing your name and just walking in, you're wearing a shirt that says Allison Rosen is your new best friend.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. So then he says, he's like, oh, your mom's house? And I'm like, oh yeah, I've been on that podcast. He's like, oh, cool. And then he's like looking at me and then he's like, oh, wait. And then he's saying, and maybe he's just saying it to like make me feel better. Like, oh, wait, I think I remember you on that show. Like, I didn't recognize you last time because of the mask. And then he's sort of like, he's like, yeah, my wife and I are mommies. That's what they call their fans. Anyway, long story short, we have this like kind of extended conversation about the other podcasts that he's into and like, oh yeah, I've had some of them on my podcast and blah, blah. But I went back into the house thinking, I did not need to have this conversation with him where I felt like I don't really feel like I was trying to impress him, but I do feel like, and I'm not saying he was, it was just one of those like, oh, I have a screenplay that I wrote. I don't know if you've heard of it, but yeah, like look me up on IMDb someday.
Right.
Like, oh, like why did I have to have this conversation? And by the way, he said that he would subscribe to my podcast, and I believe he probably will. And he might hear this, and if he does, I don't want him to feel like I'm saying I regret this conversation. I don't. I regret my own. He has been nothing but professional and lovely. And I am super excited that he's going to listen to my show, and he has excellent taste in shows. And I hope I would be overjoyed to have him and his wife as listeners. I'm just talking about the fact that deep down, a part of me still feels that podcasting is not a legitimate career. And therefore, I wish I never, ever brought it up when I talk to someone about what I do. And I could have, when he's like, oh, I thought you're going to be out, I could have just said, oh, yeah, I have a Zoom. Why did I have to offer all this extra information?
I had already told him that we're doing a show. So
Wait, are you serious?
Well, I was just telling him, like, I got to go. We're recording a show. Because I was helping him, but I had to leave.
Oh.
I didn't tell him what it was.
Well, it could have been any kind of show.
Yeah, I don't care if he knows what I'm talking about or not. That's just what I said.
Oh, well, I felt like I was starting from scratch with him. Anyway, everyone else here does podcasting, but Robin, you do screenwriting and show running, which I feel like is a similar kind of thing where you're like, why did I get into this conversation?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, all the time. And the worst part is when people they're like, have I seen anything you've worked on? Much like the guy was like, have I heard anything? And I've worked on shows that I think I'd say 80% of the shows I've written on no one's heard of. And then the 20% that people have heard of, they still haven't heard of it if I say it out loud. So I'm like, maybe you've heard of The Middle or Samantha Who or Gallivant. And they go, no, I don't have a TV. I don't watch TV.
Right.
Like that's always the response when you say you're a TV writer. And I've been at parties where people have pulled up my IMDb at the party.
Oh God.
No.
And there's a guy, a friend of a friend. I still call him IMDb to this day because I'm like, what? It was so important for you to know I was the story editor on Sons of Tucson in 2009 that you had to stop what you were doing at this party. But it's constant. And actually what I'll say is I went on a trip with like a group of people and I did not want to talk about TV writing because I knew do you all sit in a room? Do you each write an episode? Do you know, what is it like? And like the same questions every time. And I just told people that I was a court reporter and I thought that would be a good thing to say. I should say this took place in Israel. I was on on an older people's trip to Israel, not like birthright, but older. I was in my 30s. And I was like, I'm a court reporter. It's so boring. I just type so fast.
But that is a job people might have a million questions
How
about.
do you do the
I feel like
stenography?
I don't know that
I was
this
like,
plan.
this is what I do.
Yeah.
And then, I'm not kidding you, we're at this point, I think we're at climbing Masad in Israel, which is this big mountain. And we get to the top, and my two of like my oldest and dearest friends happened to be at the top. And they were like, oh my God, how's your new show? And I was like, oh, I'm a court reporter.
I call my transcripts shows. Yeah. Every time I type something out, I call it a show.
I type it out on that weird stenographer thing, and then a script comes out. But yes, it happens constantly. It even happened on Saturday night. I was in a buffet line at a bat mitzvah. Don't want to brag. But this woman was like asking...
Shrimp tower? What do we got? A shrimp tower? What are we talking?
There were
Blintzes?
no shrimp. It was more for kids. It was like kids' food, really.
Okay.
Ooh, Allison would have loved it.
You would have, actually. But we were in line. We were in line at this thing, and this woman this wonderfully nice woman started asking Sam and I the very basic questions about TV writing. And then we were like, what do you do? And she was like, I'm a patent lawyer in Silicon Valley. And then I was like, what? And then I was like, are you watching The Dropout on Hulu? And she's like, no, what is that? And I was like, it's all about patents in Silicon Valley. Like, this is a show about you. And she was like, oh, I'll watch it. But I think some of us get really into TV and podcasts, and then we forget there's a larger world out there that doesn't know what The Dropout is, that's never heard of anything. And that's generally the world I traffic in most of the time.
Yeah, I think some, and this is something I struggle with as well. And like, I think that like we're, nobody wants to be like the braggy asshole. So I think we're maybe like kind of socially encouraged to kind of downplay stuff. But I think like in that sort of situation, people would enjoy hearing about it. But yeah, I think like within our like in our like little social bubble, like I'm like, well, I don't want to go to a party and hear about some fucking guy's podcast where him and his dumb buddies watch Battlestar Galactica or whatever. Like but I think at some at a non-industry thing with just like people who have other kinds of jobs, I think they would enjoy hearing about it. Like I would enjoy hearing about being a patent lawyer or a court reporter. Like,
right.
If I met a court reporter, I would have a million questions about being a court reporter. So I think I think we can assume that people would enjoy hearing some modest facts from someone who's a normal person,
Right.
Yeah, I don't know why it left me feeling.
Well, it left you
weird.
feeling like you had to prove. I'm putting words in your mouth, but it may have left you feeling like you had to prove yourself.
Yes,
although
I didn't. But it was completely. I had completely done it to myself. Like,
right.
Yeah,
We do
I
that to
imagined
ourselves.
I did it to myself. Yes.
Yeah.
And that is yes. It's right. I had completely done it to myself because I was imagining what he might be thinking, and then I was responding to that when really it was a completely one-sided experience. And I think Jordan's right. He was probably like, "Oh, cool. Oh, cool. I thought she was just a, woman who needed someone to put together a bunk bed, but turns out she's been a guest on these." Or actually, probably he's like, "Oh, cool. I think I've actually heard her on these podcasts. That's cool." That's probably the end of it for him. But
and that's a great kind of person to be having that conversation with, because they do. You don't have to explain a podcast to them. That's always a little bit tough,
right?
And then there's I only listen to Rogan people. Like, oh, have you heard Rogan? And then you have to get into that whole thing. But yeah, right. It seems like this was a nice, cozy little zone where, he's aware of what they are, and you have a little connection to some of the shows he likes. So I don't know. I think this is like, I think that's like a good, solid, safe piece of chit chat.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I still felt like I was being like, "Whoa, look at me. I've got 3 podcasts. I've got a studio in the back. You thought you were just talking to a mom, but I have a podcast."
Well, just don't go blah after you finish talking, and then you'll be fine. Just don't go blah.
Emotional, I went blah.
I would venture to say for him, that was probably the most exciting conversation he's had with a client at work in weeks. And for you, it was full of panic and despair. But I understand the instinct to not want to share anything. Like I go to parties, I don't want to share a thing because I don't want to answer the lengthy process of like what are your IMDb credits and how does a writer's room work? But actually, I remember when Morgan Murphy and I had Los Feliz the podcast. I happened to be in Idaho, and this guy was talking about podcasts, and I just kind of threw it out there. I was like, "Oh, my friend and I just started a podcast," and he was like, "I'm going to listen to it." And I was like, "Cool." And he's in Idaho. Remember, Los Feliz is a neighborhood in LA, and he took it upon himself to email me after that Idaho trip and let me know that he listened to every episode of Los Feliz, the podcast, and he did not like it.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, what?
He had
what?
notes for me.
Wow.
So here I was putting myself out there saying, like, if you like podcasts, maybe you like this one I do about my neighborhood with my friend.
Why did he listen to every episode?
Turns out he didn't.
Why did he feel the need to tell you he didn't like it?
I don't know. It could be the same thing that Allison experienced where like the guy gets a little glint in his eye of like, ooh, I'm talking to somebody and I should. It's like when I say, oh, I worked on Diary of a Future President or any TV show I say I worked on, people's reaction is like, oh, I'll watch it. And I'm like, no, you don't have to watch it. No one said you had to watch it. I'm just telling
I feel like go ahead and watch and listen. Just if you don't like it, no need for follow-up. Wait, can we go back to something though? You ran into two of your best friends on the top of a mountain in Israel. Yes. I know it's small, but how did this happen?
I'll say, okay, it sounds better to say they were my best friends. They were close friends of mine from kindergarten through high school. And they happened to be, I know, but they happened to be on a separate sort of 30-something trip to Israel. And it was like, this is how many Jews there are in the world, that when 3 of them are at the top of the mountain, like 3 out of these 10 people went to kindergarten together. It was wild. It was one of the craziest moments of my life, truly.
Was that a good trip? Are you glad you went on it?
I am glad I went. It was in 2006 and they paid for me to go. And my bosses at the time were nice enough to let me go. And it's something about Israel is very mystical and spiritual, but also kind of exhausting because when you're there, you want to really see it. And they were on a mission to show us the whole country. But I was actually supposed to go back for my nephew's bar mitzvah last summer, but couldn't because of COVID. I'd like to go to Israel just as like an Israeli walking around the market and just like, I don't need to do all the tours. I would, but also it's so rich in history. You want the tours. So I don't know. You'll come back wearing a big Jewish star around your neck. That's for sure. You feel a sense of like, yeah, I mean, this was 2006, but I remember coming back and getting like a big chai or something because I was like so into being Jewish for 6 months. But ultimately, it was a really good trip. I met some nice people. And then one of the people that I met on that trip is now the head of publicity at CBS. And when I was working there, I was like, hi, oh my God, I went to Israel with you in 2006. She's like, I have no idea who you are. She had no idea who I was. So
if you remember that trip to Israel, you weren't there, man. Right? Right?
I was just like, she was so clear in my mind as somebody I went to Israel with. And she's like, oh my God, I don't remember you, but that trip was so fun. It's fine. Guys, it's fine. I memorize everyone's faces. And then when I see them 15 years later, I'm like, we know each other. And they're like, no, we don't. I'm like, no, we do. And then we figure it out.
This is, wait, but she's wrong and you're right, right?
I was right. Yes. I was like, no, you're married to this guy and you guys got pregnant on that trip and then you had a baby. Like, I know the whole thing. And she was like, oh my God, yeah, no, that was us.
You told me about your mom and you cried in my arms. Nope. Sorry, nothing.
We prayed at the Wailing Wall together. Nothing. Nothing.
Nope.
It's fine.
Oh my gosh, how frustrating. I don't appreciate that she doesn't remember.
That's all right. It's all right.
I would never forget. Let's say hello and welcome to our new patrons.
Allison wants to say thank you to a couple of special people out there who signed up to be new patrons. Patreon.com/AllisonRosen.
Hello and welcome to Wit Yao, who signed
Good
up
job,
for.
Daniel.
Thank you.
Yes,
I have
excellent.
too many things
recognizes.
on my screen. I can't even. You're blocked right now.
Hello and welcome to Whit Yeah, who signed up for an annual subscription. Hello and welcome to Sarah Hersey, who signed up for the texting level. Hello and welcome to Tony, who increased his annual subscription. Not this Tony. Hello and welcome to Ainsley, who signed up for an annual subscription. And the next thing I wrote down is iced oatmeal cookies, which was the carb. Hello and welcome to iced oatmeal cookies. Sign up for an annual subscription. Get 12 months for the price of 10. I already mentioned
That's
that.
a good deal.
Patreon.com/Allison Rosen. Patreon. Guys, this was so much fun.
Yeah.
Thank you so
It's
much.
always a fun time.
Listen to my other podcasts, Childish and Upworthy Weekly. I have a newsletter. You guys, I'm newslettering now. I'm one of those. Subscribe to it, AllisonRosen.substack.com. And follow me on social media at Allison Rosen on Twitter and Instagram. And if you like what you're hearing, subscribe and leave us a review, won't you, on Apple Podcasts, because we read them on the show. And we love to do that. Jordan, where might we find you?
Well, I do a podcast. That's right. I do a podcast. Ask me all of your podcasting questions. I'd love to field them. How do they make money? Are you excited about all the big companies getting into it? Yes, and yes. Yes, I do a podcast. It's called Jordan Jesse Go. Allison's been on a number of times. She's a recurring fan favorite guest. And you can find that at MaximumFun.org or wherever you get your shows. And the graphic novel that I co-wrote is still available for purchase. It is called Bubble. It is a sci-fi comedy. And thank you. I'm glad I mentioned it so much there's a drop for it. Actually, my co-author Sarah Morgan, who is from the UK, was in town visiting, and we actually signed a couple copies together at Book Soup in LA. So if you want a copy signed by the two of us, Book Soup has them, and they ship anywhere in the world. So they're a great little indie. So if you want one of those, go on their website or call them up. Book Soup, but also the book is wherever you get your books and comics.
Hell yeah.
Wonderful. And Robin, what about you?
You can find me on Instagram at Machine Gun Kelly. I'm just kidding.
You and all your bros going out for some cannolis.
We're just going to give you COVID the second you log on. It's at Robin Shore, ROBINSHORR on Instagram.
Wonderful. And Daniel?
You can follow me at texting, and I will text me and I'll text you back. That's the new social network that I'm on.
No.
It's so toxic there. I can't handle it. I can't handle texting. It's so toxic.
No. You know what? It's just little me at Daniel Quantz, Twitter and Instagram that's where all the fun is. Not really.
Great.
Not fun.
Seems fun.
But you know what? You should follow me anyway, though. Sometimes you need to do things that are counterintuitive. Like you think this isn't going to be fun. I should do it. It's better for you. It's healthy. It's like, drinking one of those green smoothies.
Right.
I'm the green smoothie of Twitter.
Keeps you regular.
The preferred drink of Elizabeth Holmes.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Green juice.
I have an Elizabeth Holmes story to tell you guys
tell it
after we get off.
Wait, full disclosure, we are recording another episode with the same crew for next week. Is your Elizabeth Holmes story an on-air or an off-air story?
I'll tell it to you off-air, and then you can tell me if I should tell it on-air or not.
Oh, can't wait. Okay. And Tony, what about you?
Twitter and Instagram at
Tony Thaxton.
and Bizarre Albums every Tuesday, and nothing else to promote right now.
Bizarre Albums is great.
It is
Thank
great.
you.
It rules. Check out the Burt Reynolds country music episode. I loved it.
Oh
Burt
my
Reynolds
God.
is such a funny weirdo.
Is he still alive?
No.
R.I.P. Was
No.
He
funny.
RIP'd, right?
A couple years.
He fully RIP'd a while
Oh, but
ago.
Tom Selleck is the one that's still alive.
Yeah.
He's going to
Totally
RIP soon,
alive,
probably.
totally into guns. And totally has weird politics. Tom Selleck.
Yeah, well.
Not a huge surprise there, I guess.
You guys, thank you so much for being on the show. Listeners, thank you for listening. I love you. You matter. Goodbye.
Hey, do you know about the Allison Rosen show?